Hello, everyone. My name is Yuri Tovbin. You can see it on your screens. I'm fully retired now, have been retired for 10 years. I worked for 55 years, 30 years in Moscow, teaching university, and 25 years in the United States, teaching professional translators and interpreters. And as I said, 10 years retirement. Okay. In the last 10 years, I've been whiling away my time by reading books, watching television, playing the piano a little bit. And finally I thought, well, maybe it's time I made myself useful. I would like to make myself useful by offering you some lessons of English. It'll be upper intermediate, C1, C2, and above. I will call my lessons north of intermediate. North of means upper of. North of 50 degrees is higher than 50 degrees, so north of intermediate would mean higher than intermediate. I will be speaking English. I will be translating certain things into Russian for your convenience. And I strongly suggest you take a pen and some paper and jot down, record the things that you find interesting or useful, or both. Now let me say up front that I am not going to teach you slang, substandard grammar, all kinds of gutter English that is so near and dear to some teachers on YouTube. I don't hold with this kind of English, and I have never taught it, and I will never teach it. And if you are looking for slang, things like I don't know nothing about nothing, or you don't know nothing about nothing, you're in the wrong place. I'm not going to teach you that. No, thank you so much. But instead, I will teach you good, professional, educated English. I will explain words, I will explain grammar, I will explain whatever needs to be explained, maybe phraseology, idioms, stuff like that. And I hope that I will be getting a lot of feedbacks, positive or negative. Both will be good, both will be heeded, both will be noted, and I will respond to both kinds. If I made a mistake, I will own it, I will admit it. If I didn't make a mistake, I will say why I think I didn't make it. Now, I'm not charging any money for my lessons. I'm doing it, well, I'm not saying I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, though I'm generally a kind person, but I don't see why I should charge for sharing something that I have plenty of. And I cannot offer you one-to-one classes. I cannot offer you daily presentations. And so I don't think I'm in a position to charge money for that. And so let's roll over to the actual stuff that we're going to work on. Today I'm offering you a test lesson, if you will, a touchstone lesson, proba pera, because I've never done it before, and I apologize up front if you find some technical snags in my presentation, such as the dimming screen or, clearing my throat or, things like that. I apologize. But let's move into it. I'm offering you a song called Chattanooga, Choo Choo. It is a song from a well-known movie called Sun Valley Serenade, Сирена Солнечной долины. It was released in 1940 or 1941. It's a very well-known American movie with wonderful music, composed by Glenn Miller, the outstanding American composer, trombone player, and conductor of his own orchestra. He had his own orchestra to conduct, and he composed all the music for that movie, and it's wonderful music. I mean, if you like jazz, and if you haven't seen the movie, I strongly advise that you might want to see it. You're going to enjoy it. Okay, let's move into it. It's a song about a train that travels from New York to Chattanooga, a city in the state of Tennessee, in the southeast of the United States. As you will see later, it'll depart from the station, a major station in New York. I'll let you know the name a little later. But for now, I'll explain that choo-choo is a choo-choo train. It was known as a choo-choo train because it mimics the sound that the locomotive produces as it moves along the track. Choo, 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 choo. It was known in Russia as kukushka or pushtelka, which I think was very appropriate because that's the kind of sound it's produced. A choo-choo train is a train which was powered by a steam locomotive. It has a huge furnace inside, fired by coal, as we will see later. The coal burns, boils the water becomes steam, and the steam moves the train. It's a choo-choo train. And it spews out, as it moves along, it spews out a plume of white, well, it looks like smoke, but it isn't smoke, it's steam. It spews out a pillar of white steam. It looks beautiful as it moves along. Okay, a guy wants to travel on that train to Chattanooga, and so he walks over to a bunch of guys sitting around a table, and he says to them, "Hi there." And they say, "Hi there, Tex." He's from Texas. He's wearing a baseball cap, which I think has the word Texas written on it, and so they knew he was from Texas. "Hi there, Tex. What you say?" What you say is a truncated, curtailed, shortened, "What do you say?" They don't use do because it's a song, and certain freedoms, certain liberties are permitted in a song. Certain violations of style, grammar, spelling, things like that. It should have been what do you say, but do is an extra syllable, лишний слог. And so they cannot, with that do, if it were here, they couldn't fit it into the line, so they had to drop it out. What do you say? Step aside, partner. It's my day. Step aside means move away. Make a step backwards or forwards or sideways to clear the way. And partner is either partner or напарник. In the United States, for instance, policemen, when they are inside a patrol car on a patrol, as they patrol an area, they always travel in twos, in pairs, and they address each other by saying partner. And they say, well, Jerry Smith here is my partner, мой напарник. Step aside, it could be a business partner, actually. Мой партнер по бизнесу. Step aside, partner, it's my day. It's my day means it is my day, don't spoil it for me. Sorry for the dimming of the screen. It's my day, don't spoil it. Let me live it the way I want to live it. I'm the boss today. I tell everybody else what they should do. Bend an ear and listen to my version. Bend an ear is lend an ear or listen attentively. Bend an ear and listen to my version, that is, listen to what I think is a fair rendition, a fair representation of the events that I know of or have seen. Listen to my version of a really solid Tennessee excursion. Again, an article is missing of a really solid excursion, but that again is an extra syllable, лишний слог, and so it was dropped out for the sake of fitting the words into the rhythm of the line. Really solid Tennessee excursion. Solid does not mean solidный. It has nothing to do with solidный in this case, though it could be used, as you will see later in one of my lessons. But a solid excursion is a well-organized one that was thought over, well-prepared, well-organized. A solid Tennessee excursion. Excursion is excursia, of course, but it may have other meanings, which we may want to discuss later. Let me call your attention to the fact that both version and excursion are pronounced with a j rather than sh. Some people say excursion, which is wrong. It should be excursion and version. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Pardon me, boy. Is that the Chattanooga Choo? Excuse me, boy. Actually, boy is not a very respectful way of addressing a person, young or not so young, doesn't matter. But in the olden times, boy was used as a common way of addressing a black person, white people who thought they were better than black people used the word boy to address someone who was black. Fortunately for the United States, they no longer do that. They don't use this word derogatively or in an improper way. They don't do that anymore. Извини, паренек, That's the way I would translate it if I had to translate it. Is that the Chattanooga choo-choo? Is that the train bound for Chattanooga? Is that the train traveling to Chattanooga? Yes, yes. Track 29. In the United States, and probably elsewhere in Europe, I just don't know, trains are not known by the numbers. They don't have numbers. They have either destination or track number or both. So it would be the train from track 29 bound for Chattanooga, Tennessee. Track 29. Go and look for 29, you'll find your train. Boy, you can give me a shine. That's a good one. You can give me a shine means you can shine my shoes. If your shoes are dirty or dusty or otherwise looking improper, you may want to have them shined. That is, you may want to have them creamed, polished, and otherwise beautified. There were shoe shine boys. Probably they still exist. I don't really know. I haven't seen many around. But a shoe shine boy was usually a young boy, a teenager probably, who was very well equipped to shine your shoes. He had all the instruments and tools and all the equipment he needed to give your shoes a wonderful shine for a couple of bucks at that time. And it's a good structure to have my shoes shined. Oh my God, my shoes are so dirty, I need to have them shined. Have them shined. Have is used as a causative verb, that is a verb that causes some action to be performed, not necessarily by you, in this case by a third party, by someone else. You can have your shoes shined, you can have your car fixed or repaired, you can have your TV tuned or adjusted, отрегулировать. Мне отрегулировали телевизор. You can have your wife shadowed or tailed or followed or watched if you are that way inclined, and if you suspect your wife of playing around, which I hope you don't. You can have many things done, the idea being that you don't do any of those things by yourself. You have somebody else do them for you. Have something done. And let me also add to that have does not necessarily suggest that something was done for somebody's benefit. Like you have your car washed or you have your car fixed, you are the beneficiary of the action. The action is performed for you. You win by having that action done for you. But it also may mean that you are the victim of something. For example, I had a camera stolen. Меня украли камеру. That is, you are the victim of a third party who stole your camera. Or I had my bank robbed. Мой банк ограбили. You're the victim of the robbery. Or I had two of my favorite cups. Whoops, excuse me. I had two of my favorite cups broken. У меня разбили две мои любимые чашки. So please remember that this structure has a dual meaning. One is where you are the beneficiary and the other where you are the victim. Can you afford to board the Chattanooga Choo? Can you afford? Do you have enough money to buy a ticket for the train? Afford is not always about money. It's frequently about money, but it's not always about money. For example, a chess player can say, well, I cannot afford to lose this game. It's too important. Or somebody might say, I cannot afford to get married now. And it's not a matter of money. He has a lot of money, but he is mentally not ready, not ripe, not mature enough to get married. I cannot get married. Or you might say, I cannot afford to be seen with this lady in public. There are circumstances that don't permit me to be seen with this lady in public. I cannot afford to be seen with this lady in public. Afford is another good verb, actually. To board is to get on a vehicle. You board a train, you board a plane, maybe you board a bus, though you hop on a bus. Usually it's not a major, it's not a, how would you say that? It's not the kind of transportation that is overwhelming like a train or a plane. So you board a train, you board a plane. To board a train, you must have a ticket. To board a plane, you must also have a ticket. And by the gate, you must also have a boarding pass. A boarding pass is your document to board a plane. The flight attendant will check your boarding pass. It will tear it apart, give you the stub, and keep the actual, she will keep the stub and give you the rest of the boarding pass to keep. And when the plane is fully boarded, they will count the stubs to see how many passengers have actually boarded the airplane. Board is when you get on, but if you're getting off, you step off the train, you step off the train, or you disembark the plane, or you deplane. You don't need to add the plane, because when you deplane, you leave the plane. You disembark the plane, or you deplane, that is, you step off the plane. I've got my fare means I've got enough money to pay for the ticket. Fare is what you pay for a ride on public transportation, on mass conveyance. You pay a fare when you want to ride on a bus or a streetcar or a train, actually. A taxi driver might say, well, I picked up a fare on 5th. That is, I picked up a passenger on 5th Avenue. I picked up a fare. And before you catch a taxi or grab a taxi, you must be sure you have the fare, that is, you have enough money to pay the taxi driver. I've got my fare, that is, I have enough to pay for the ticket, and just a trifle to spare, and a little more to spare. A trifle is a bagatelle, something not important. It's not small change like coins or small bills like $1 bills or $2 bills. But a trifle is millage figuratively. I don't deal with trifles. I deal with serious things. I don't handle trifles. Let somebody else handle them. In this case, it doesn't mean millage. It means a little, a trifle to spare. That is, I have my fare on top of which, I have my fare on top of which I have a little more money that I can spend at my pleasure as I wish. To spare is something that is an action of giving away something that you can afford to give away, that you are not sorry to give away, that you are not too greedy to give away. You can spare it. For example, if you have 3 tickets for a performance, but you have just wife next to you and nobody else, just the 2 of you, you would say, I have a spare ticket and I can either sell it to someone or just give it away to someone, but it's something that I don't need all that much, or something that I can give to someone else without, shedding tears about that. And just a trifle to spare. I have a little more on top of what I need to pay for the ticket. Let me stop here. It's been about a half hour. I will stop here. I will be back next time with the rest of the song, and my third lesson will be working on the vocabulary, grammar, and all the other interesting stuff that you find in the song. But before I say goodbye, let me say again that I strongly advise you to watch this movie. It's a pearl. It's a wonderful cinematographic creation. Okay, be good now, and goodbye.